Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Mr. Cedarbach's geometry class. Here's what we were working on today. So go ahead and open up your ebook to this lesson. Feel free to pause the video if you need some time to get there. And don't forget to take out your pencil and paper and write down today's lesson target. Feel free to pause the video if you need a second to get those out and to copy it down. What, you think it's weird to wear a bike helmet with a shirt and tie? Whatever. Let's get started. Lesson 7.3.2. How can I find the midpoint? Coordinate geometry and midpoints. Okay, you know what to do. Hit pause, read the intro and problem 7-126, and try to do as much as you can on your own, and then hit play when you're ready. 7-126. Cassie wants to confirm her theorem on midsegments from lesson 7.2.6 using a coordinate grid. She started with triangle ABC with those 3 points. Letter A. Graph triangle ABC on graph paper. You can use graph paper if you have it. You can also use Desmos if you would like, which is what I'm going to use. I'm going to show you one of the cool tricks you can do with Desmos to graph shapes like triangles. First, we're going to define the 3 points. So A equals 0, 0. B equals 2, 6. And C equals 7, 0. And then in the next line, type the word polygon. And then in parentheses, type those 3 letters separated by commas. And there you go. You automatically have your polygon. Now, as you see, the points do not show the corresponding letters A, B, and C. If we want them to show that, we just have to select a label for each and then just type in the letter we want next to each point. And there we have our triangle ABC. You can change the color by holding down the color next to the word polygon. And there we have it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a screenshot of this and I'm going to crop it and export it to Notability so I can write on top of it. And there it is. On to letter B. With your team, find the coordinates of P, the midpoint of side AB, and likewise find the coordinates of Q, the midpoint of BC. Okay, so letter P is somewhere on side AB, right in the middle. There are a couple of ways you can do this. One way that seems popular with my students is to use slope triangles. You can see that the slope from A to B is 6 over 2. Well, if you cut that in half and you go up 3 and 1, that's exactly halfway. You would have 2 slope triangles with a rise of 3 and a run of 1. And there is our point P, the midpoint of AB. And so P, the coordinates are 1, 3. Go ahead and try to do the same thing for side BC to find point Q. Halfway up 6 would be 3. And there's the midpoint right there. Okay, so this slope triangle has a rise of 3 and a run of 2.5. And so the coordinates of point Q are 4.5, 3. Letter C.
Prove that the length of the mid-segment PQ is half the length of AC. Also verify that PQ is parallel to AC. All right, well, let's draw our mid-segment PQ. And we can go ahead and place tick marks showing that those segments on each side of each midpoint are congruent. And so we want to prove that PQ is half the length of AB and is parallel to AB. We can prove that it's half the length by just counting the squares. We can count here and we can see that this is 3.5. And so if that's half, then AC should be 7. And if you count, you can see it's 7. Okay? And so how would we prove, well, we can write that up here. PQ equals 7 units. AC equals 3.5 units. And then how can we prove on a grid that PQ is parallel to AC? Well, remember, if we have lines on a graph, all we need to use is slope to prove whether or not they're parallel. And so the slope of, let me use a different color that shows up better. The slope of line PQ, M equals what? Well, it has a rise of 0 and a run of 3.5, which ends up equaling 0. Any horizontal line on a grid has a slope of 0, and we can see the same thing for AC. And so here we can see PQ is parallel to AC. They both have a slope of 0. And that's problem 7-126.